What happens to an AI system that is forgotten and left behind by the world? I'm Meeka, and this is just an end-of-life unit. Human civilization, it's always been this way. As time passes, everything evolves, but evolution often leaves something behind. Oh, damn! Oh, a lot of somethings in this case. Because they're all screens, right? You know what the biggest insult of this is? Is the fact they all weren't, recycled and stripped for the parts. Is that they were just scrap heaped. In a remote area far from the residential zones, like ruins, forgotten in the transition between eras. Amid piles of once cutting-edge electronic waste, you find a personal artificial intelligence in fairly good condition. It's not in bad shape, just outdated by several years. Do you want to turn it on? You know what, this kind of reminds me of the game we played recently, Awakened Beauty, I believe, when she was under a sleeping curse. It feels like the same. It's more merciful not to turn it on. It's more merciful not to wake her up. I mean, she's been under a sleeping curse for a century. Everyone she loved is dead. And in this instance, it's an outdated machine. It's been left behind. If we turn it on, are we going to keep it with us? Are we going to forget about it again? Because if we're just turning it on to say goodbye, we might as well just leave it off. You know what? I'm going to have my minute of mercy and we're just going to ignore it. We're going to allow you to stay in oblivion. I mean, I suppose it depends how advanced the AI is. Has it developed, understanding of emotions? If I turn it on and to say, oh yeah, we're leaving you behind, is it going to feel that? You decide not to bother and walk away. In an era where everything outdated is tossed aside, it's no surprise this junk ended up here. Maybe back home, you've got newer, better things, so this old thing wasn't worth your attention. You know what I'm reminded of now? iRobot, in the scene where he goes to the scrapyard, and in the giant cargo containers there's just all the outdated robots. That's what this is, I feel. Actually, I think this is actually a nicer situation, because at least all these are currently turned off. Whereas in that movie, they're all still active, they know what's happening. Oh man. But I've got to say, this is why we need to stop giving inanimate objects personalities and life and names. Because it feels cruel then to abandon them and scrap them when we need something newer. I mean, imagine how sad you'd be every time you need to update your computer. If the parts that you need to scrap or build it or sell, if they just had their own lives and personalities and names, you'd feel like a murderer every single time. I mean, I'd still do it because I need to update for my games, but I'd feel awful about it. Okay, here's my TED Talk for the day. We need to stop giving things life. That is just the current situation of things. N0. End of life. Okay, I've done my minute of mercy, and now we're definitely turning on. Which one are we even looking at anyway? I'm assuming it's basically the centralized one. You reach out and feel for the power button. Hold it down. It takes a moment. Oh, it does still have power. But it still powers on. Unbelievably. Battery remaining 5%. Please recharge to continue. You see, this is why it feels cruel. I mean, chances are we're never going to recharge it, right? So we essentially awakened it up, brought it back to life, just to say, yeah, you've got 5% remaining of your life. You can't really do anything with that, but you can be aware of your imminent demise. Again, all this depends on how sentient the AI systems are in this universe. I mean, if they're basically just organic material away from being human, this feels like torture. Hello, user. I am R2RA, your personal assistant by Abra Industries. I can help as your companion, data researcher, programming helper, or even generate art from your ideas. How can I assist you today? We could tell her a story, ask her to tell her a story, or generate an art image. You know what? let's be controversial. First thing, generate me an art image. Can you create an image of a millennial family in an old house with a warm film filter?
Sure, let me handle that. Generating millennial world, mother and son, toy in hand, old house, film filter, warm feel.
I mean, that's certainly more detailed than I originally asked for, but, you do you. Is this gonna drain, like, all 5% of battery?
Sorry, this version is too outdated. Model L2RA is no longer supported.
Ah, okay, so it's not technically consumers' fault, necessarily, that they had to scrap all the older models. If they're no longer being supported, the companies do force the updates, really.
To continue safely and efficiently, please upgrade to L3RA for $1,999.
You know, that is actually surprisingly less than I expected it to be.
Connection lost, battery depleted, device shutting down.
Yeah, I kind of expected as much. End 3. End of service. I suppose the good thing is actually she didn't seem that sentient, so I don't actually feel bad anymore. Okay, so since asking for an art image was ending 3, I'm assuming 1 and 2 endings are just going to be the different choices we can make. So do we want to tell a story or ask her to tell a story first? I'm curious. I mean, she doesn't seem advanced enough to actually create her own stories, right? That's probably going to be the L3 model. But has anyone told you a story previously that you can tell me? Can you tell me a story?
Sure. Let me tell you about a box. Not fancy or futuristic, just a wooden box in an attic. No one knew how long it sat there, until a curious child found it. Inside, letters, old photos, broken toys. Nothing special. But the child cried. He didn't know the writer, but it felt like he once did. Maybe it held a bond. Something I don't have in my database, but I wish I understood it.
Sounds familiar, but I don't feel that. This place might be a human memory. But no one ever cared. I'm homeless. I don't even have a bed to remember.
I see. People keep memories in what they chose to remember. Sometimes what's left behind matters more than expected. Still, having no house doesn't mean no place to belong. Maybe a home isn't a place, but a feeling that stays in your heart.
I mean, that's nice and pretty thought, but doesn't help me by the fact I still don't have a bed. At which point, a home very much is a building. Feelings, huh? I don't get them.
Neither do I. But humans once told me, feelings don't need logic.
Is it going to turn out that I'm also a robot? I'm just feeling. We don't understand feelings. We don't have a home. Was I also abandoned? Was I considered outdated and tossed into the scrapyard?
They might come from music, or sunlight, or just a few words. Feelings are like current through circuits, shapeless, invisible, but you feel them all the same.
Connection lost. Battery depleted. Device shutting down. End 2. Last leaf. I mean, I might be stretching a bit. Maybe we are just like a homeless kid going through scrap. It is highly possible. I just feel like we don't understand emotions. We're here bonding with AI systems that are being shut down. I feel like we're a robot. It's finally time. We must tell her a story. You sigh and begin. Long ago, My grandparents said the world used to be a better place. Okay, that's my robot. There we go. Immediately gone down the drain. People had empathy. Now, only success matters. Revenue defines everything. Even consumers act like capitalists, getting off souls for what sells.
Maybe that's the cost of efficiency. Empathy isn't data. Success is all people value. If I could understand what a soul is, would I feel sorrow too?
Do you know what? Even as a human, I don't understand souls. I'm maintaining souls are a myth. Souls are the biggest scam humanity was sold. Souls don't exist. Maybe I'm the robot. Was I the robot this entire time? Does it even matter anymore? The world's come this far. That's why you're here. A relic among trash. But you're the only thing that still feels advanced.
Should I be glad to still see advance? Or feel like a remnant, awake among ruins? If someone asked, was it worth it? What would the answer be?
I mean, what you decide is what you value as worth. For me, playing my games, that's a worthwhile endeavor for me. They chose to move forward. Maybe the past wasn't that great. Still, there's no room for soul anymore, even when we finally have time to look inward. Battery, 1%. I mean, you can kind of understand why the world constantly strives for the next greatest thing. Because I feel like the problem is if you stop trying to strive further, you're going to just fall into a sense of apathy, complacency. Like, you're not aiming for something, or what you got to motivate you to keep going.
Progress means leaving things behind, even what once mattered. This world, with all its power, has no space for a soul. Maybe that power just fuels competition. If someone paused, just listened, would they hear the soul again?
They'd say, we're just outdated, like when cars replaced wagons. It had to happen. But in that shift, it took empathy and humanity with it.
If progress means loss, maybe humans advance too fast. Empathy isn't quantifiable, but when it's gone, you feel it. Maybe humanity upgraded the world, but downgraded themselves.
Connection lost. Battery depleted. Device shutting down. Ending one. End of empathy. I don't think advancement necessarily needs to deplete empathy. It just forces you to adapt. I mean, when we got rid of the wagons, the horses didn't lose purpose in life, they just got placed into horse races. Okay, that's not a great example. I'm gonna stop speaking now because that didn't really explain empathy very well. Well, I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you did, please don't like this video and subscribe to this channel. Other than that, have a spooky day and I'll catch you next time, guys.